So now we're going to start setting up some control objects so that we can control pieces of this and see how the deformations are working. I'm going to use one of my scripted tools that's set up and available from download on my site, which gives you some different control objects predefined. There are spline objects like we've used in the past, and we can use those to create some interesting shapes. So I'm going to use the circle arrow control, which gives me this control object here. I'm just going to turn off the display render mesh, and I have sort of a circle with 4 arrows around it. We're going to start off in the corner of the mouth. I'm going to align it up just in position here, and then with angle snap turned on. There we go, angle snap turned on to 90, so it's aligned up to it, and turn off angle snap and just get it basically aligned to how I want the face to sort of deform naturally side to side at that point. So sort of in line with the surface of the mesh, and this will provide us with a control now that handles essentially moving the corner of this mouth on all 3 axes, so we can pull and stretch it however we like to be able to get some of the form out of it. Now, one of the things we're probably going to want to do as well with this control is have it also drive a bit more. This is that sort of the going to be the top layer control, so it's going to drive multiple joints. Eventually, we're going to have a control on every single joint as our secondary control layer, so it's a finite control layer. This layer is going to have some sort of global influence on the deformation. So what I'll do with this one is when this one moves, this joint will move 100%, and then the ones surrounding it will all get pulled on varying degrees, so that when you move this, it kind of helps shift and pull everything out a little bit and pull it all around a little bit. And then we could go ahead and tweak the shapes that we get with that with the tweak layer below it. So now to set this up, one of the things you need to do is we need to get a sort of a true 0 value out of everything here. And the best way to do that is make sure that everything is parented to some sort of point helper or helper object that is aligned up in the orientation that you want. So again, what I'm going to use is my M group tool, and I'll just open the UI portion of it here, and I want to say group all objects in this case, and say group, and it'll take these 2 objects here and parent them to a point helper. I'm going to increase the size of that point helper a bit to say 0.5, and then what I need to do with this, I need to align it up to this control. Now right now if I align it to it, it's going to rotate those other 2 point helpers. So I'm going to need to go into the don't affect children in the hierarchy panel and use the align tool. Don't want it done in position, only want it done in rotation, and so that it's aligned up to it. I also want to make sure that this has got a same sort of point helper aligned to it, so that I know things have their parent objects are aligned up the way they're supposed to. And it helps with all kinds of things. It's going to help with the rotational math. It's going to help with gibble locking possibilities and whatnot that might happen. So same thing here. I'm just going to make the point size 0.5 and group each object and hide. There we go. Show. So sorry, I accidentally hit hide point helpers. The hide point helpers, by the way, in here basically just goes in, turns these off. The show shows them back on again. So now that I've got parent for this, and I have these all are children of this now controls that joint area. The easiest way really to connect this up and have this control be handled by this control would be to just parent it into it. At that point, it doesn't quite work very well with rotations. I want this object out here for its rotations, just so it feels a little more natural out from the head, and I want to be able to spin it right where it is. So really what I need to do is I need to connect this to this in some other fashion other than direct parenting, or else it'll rotate around it sort of wildly, not the way I want. I'll just demonstrate that. So if I parent it up to it and I rotate it, it's moving it as well as rotating it. It's not really what I want. Now I could move this pivot of this object back here, and it doesn't quite feel